just gonna
That's
run
okay.
and get a power cord
Okay, sure.
again, but
Yeah.
you can start. No, just join.
You'll know how to catch up. All right. And I'm just going to mute you all. So if you do need my attention at any point in time, give me a wave and then you can write in if you need me, if you want to talk just in the chat, and then it doesn't bother anybody. And I'll get you muted. Yeah. So just settling in, getting whatever you need in place to feel really supported. Beautiful practice about yoga nidra is that, you know, it is this relaxation practice, this surrender practice. And that's part of it. It's a nice treat in our busy lives, in our culture that doesn't necessarily value relaxation and quiet, solitude. So taking all the time you need to wiggle and jiggle. And I keep forgetting to mention this to people, but so I'm going to mention that I am selling my eye bags because I just feel like as we go forward from COVID, something like that is just not going to be something you do anymore. Share eye bags, even though we put a barrier in between, your Kleenex in between your face and your eyes. So they're just, I don't know, $15, $10. I can't remember. But if you really love them, oh, look, you've got one. You can buy one and they are all cleaned and ready to go if you're interested. So once you have everything in place, just taking some nice deep breaths. Each breath an invitation to settle. So even with a little extra focus on the exhalation, and as if the exhalation almost lowers you down into your supports a little more, like the air going out of a balloon, and your body is the balloon and it gets limp and spreads out over the surface it's resting on. And feeling those little ripples, or whatever it feels like for you. So as I sit here, it feels like, little ripples through different parts of my body that surrender and let go. And sometimes when I'm laying on my back in particular, there can be like this sort of tidal wave of whoosh, release, especially if this is one of the first times that I've really settled and was still in the day. And then whenever you feel like the breath has done its job, like the smooth, deep breathing, just let it dissolve. You know what? We're going to do that a little bit more succinctly. So as you begin, we are going to move into a breath work practice. But first, let's just feel into safety. Feel your your body responding and acknowledging the physical signature of safety, and you're more than welcome to paint a beautiful picture of a safe place for you. And imagine yourself there and allow your imagination to really be bright and vibrant and feel yourself in this place. And you might even notice, things that don't feel safe show up when you're invited into safety. And know that you have the ability, the God-given ability to step back, to detach from those things, to have a boundary with them and say, not right now. It's a skill. It's a survival skill. And as we grow and mature, we're more able, didn't come out quite right, to meet these challenges. And when you're experiencing a profound grief, thank goodness you don't have to feel it all at once. And feeling the peacefulness of safety, the warmth of it. The freedom of it. You can just be yourself. And even right from this place, just bring your attention as you're floating in your safe place to the sensations of the breath. And the breath as it enters the nostrils and exits the nostrils. The crisp dryness, maybe coolness as the breath comes into the body. And the warm moistness of the breath that leaves the body. Noting which nostril is breathing more fully. That changes every 45 minutes to hour and a half, floats from side to side. I'm just going to very gently deepen the breathing. And then we've already brought our attention to the nose. And so sense the breath moving through the throat, down into the lungs, the movement of the diaphragm and the belly and the pelvic floor, opening and relaxing to receive the inhalations. And it's almost like the breath bounces off the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor draws in and up, responding. Like a trampoline, the breath comes down, the pelvic floor broadens and spreads out, and then the breath bounces on it, and it floats the breath back up as it draws in and up. Just taking a couple of breaths, just focusing on the natural movement of the pelvic floor. You could add a little bit to this. Just really being attentive to the pelvic floor, completely releasing with the inhalations. And then gently contracting with the exhalations. You may even find digestion starts to get a little more gurgly, a little more active as you're breathing into the abdominal cavity, a little more fully, a little more consciously. Let your attention move up the body into the belly and the low back. And feel how these parts move away from each other. Even if you're laying on your back, there's this sense of opening through the back body and the belly. You may even feel a little bit of space through the lumbar vertebrae. You may feel some movement out to the sides, but mostly front and back. You can feel the muscles of the low back just naturally contract a little bit with each exhalation. No need to sort of expand to capacity, just a nice, gentle, contented fullness without tension or strain. Just that, Goldilocks sweet spot, just enough. Not too much, not too little, just enough. And your ability to really step out of the way, even though you are breathing more deeply than you would without any effort, you can let go of the beginnings and the ending of each inhalation and exhalation. And then bringing your attention just up a little higher into the bottom ribs, around the diaphragm. And feel this spreading front to back, but particularly side to side. It's where the most movement happens here. You can feel your ribs open up and press into your clothing. Even if you're laying on one side, you may feel that top side open a little more freely. It's okay. Perhaps even visualizing this umbrella-like diaphragm that umbrellas when it's on your exhalation and flattens out on your inhalation. And again, into that sweet, gentle, contented fullness. So nurturing to stay in the center, to walk along the median plane. And then feeling the breath swirl around the heart, and the chest and upper back, creating a little lift, mostly up and down, a little to the sides. But the main focus just around the heart, which is a little lower than where I think of when I think of chest and upper back. A little higher than the diaphragm, but not all the way up into the collarbones. Though the breath may whisk across these as well. You may feel a little stretch through the space between the spine and the shoulder blades, the muscles there. A little stretch or just opening through the chest. And this too has that umbrella-like movement. Spreads open and then partially closes on the exhalations. And then just feeling it all together, feeling the breath come in through the nose, down all the way to the pelvic floor, belly and low back, diaphragm, heart. And if you like, you can pause at the top of the inhale and just enjoy the lightness of it, the perfection of it, the delicious sensations of just a simple, full breath. Watching as the inhalation dissolves and allowing whatever, amount of time wants to happen before the exhalation shows itself. You just kind of watch. No need to affect this at all. And it can be kind of a playful experiment of watching yourself hold instead of just let go in that space without any judgment. And the exhalation is this gentle wash of relaxation, this ripple of warmth and letting go travel down from the crown of the head, or perhaps just the heart all the way down to the pelvic floor, maybe all the way down and out through the feet. And just watching and experience a fully embodied breath. And then another. Letting go of everything you know or been taught before about breath and just let it happen with a little bit of effort, just to elongate it and draw it out and enjoy it a little bit more. Extend it. Your mind wanders just very gently, like you're bringing a puppy back to the paper. Bring it back. Body being breathed. Perhaps the breath flows into some areas of tension. And perhaps the tension lets go and perhaps it doesn't. Just allowing that to unfold in its own time, in its own way. And then letting yourself feel the breath through the whole body. The whole body, inhaling, and the whole body exhaling. And the breath like a gentle breeze flowing over you on a hot day. Body, heart, and head just receiving it with delight. And then just drawing your attention and the breath just into the lips. The lips feeling like they inhale and exhale. And then feeling like you breathe through the hollow of the mouth. Teeth, the tongue, the gums, the roof and the floor of the mouth. Breathing or being breathed. The joints of the jaw. Inhaling and exhaling. The nose, inhaling and exhaling. the eyes, breathing in and breathing out. Don't worry if my words don't flow exactly with your breath. Just let your breath be. The forehead, inhaling and exhaling. The crown of the head, breathing. Even if it feels kind of contrived, just let it be. The back of the head, breathing. The brain, inhaling. And the brain, exhaling. The neck and throat, breathing. Shoulder joints, breathing. Upper arms, breathing. And elbows, breathing. Forearms, breathing in. And forearms, breathing out. Wrists, breathing. And hands, inhaling and exhaling. Both hands, both arms, shoulders, neck, throat, head, and face, breathing in. And breathing out. It's this beautiful, soothing wind. The rib cage, breathing in and out. Shoulder blades along for the ride. Back to the diaphragm, observing the inhalation And the exhalation with just the diaphragm. Breathing in and breathing out with the upper abdomen, mid to low back. And the pelvic bowl, the top of the pelvic bowl to the bottom of the rib cage, breathing front and back, side to side and inside. The whole upper abdomen and low back and mid back included. The organs, even the skin of the mid to low back and the skin of the upper abdomen, breathing. Every cell expanding with the inhalations. And gently contracting or deflating with the exhalations. We're noticing if the mind has little ideas about inflated is better than deflated. And feeling the breath in the pelvic bowl. Down low in the torso. Feeling the hip bones. Breathing in and out. And the upper hip bones and the organs of the pelvic bowl all the way down to this funnel into the pelvic floor. And this intricate, amazing web of muscles that flows through the bottom of the pelvis, sit bones, pubic bone, around hip joints, around the ureter sphincters and the anal sphincter, around the tailbone. And even though the breath doesn't actually make its way into the pelvic bowl, feeling the pelvic bowl being breathed. And feeling the breath flow down into the hip joints. Hip joints, inhaling and exhaling. Thighs, breathing in and out. Knees, breathing in and out. Lower legs, breathing in and out. ankles, breathing. Feet and toes, breathing. Whole body, inhaling. Whole body, exhaling. Whole room, inhaling. Whole room, exhaling. The mind may have something to say about this. Just letting that go and allowing yourself the playful experience of breathing through the room. And the whole house and everything in it, just like every part of your body breathing, every piece of furniture, every being in the house breathing in unison. And the symbiotic flow. Whole city breathing in. Whole city breathing out. Whole world breathing in. Whole world breathing out. Whole universe breathing in. Whole universe breathing out. The ego creeps to the foreground and says, I am the universe, breathing in and breathing out. And watching that thought dissolve with the exhalation. Just this. Just this inhale. Just this exhale. Just this pause between inhale and exhale. Just this pause between exhale and inhale. And still quiet, watching, holding. Beyond the breath. Beyond this body, beyond this city, beyond the world, beyond the universe. Yet, all of that too, not separate. But at the same time, beyond. And within this holding stillness flows the breath, flows the body. The body, a holographic representation of the entire universe. Nothing new or original or separate. Yet a unique formulation of nothing new, original, or separate. That is you, that is original, that is separate even. The paradox of not two. And within this non-original, original self, noticing to tour around the universe of you. What beings, what furniture, what things do you find here? Thoughts, images, emotions, feelings, sensations. And perhaps this feels very neutral, nothing in particular, feeling that being breathed, feeling that held by the stillness, coming from the stillness, perhaps watching it dissolve back into the stillness. Open, present to whatever's here now. Hello, darling. Even if that's nothing at all. Watching the inner geography, feeling the breath rising and falling within whatever's here now. Noticing any secondary arisings, preference, aversion, acceptance, welcoming, or a combination of all three. Noticing if judgment shows up, and is it possible to just let it go? Noticing if expectation shows up. And is it possible to let that go? Free of all beliefs, open to the simple unfolding of reality, just as it is in this moment. Well planted in safety, warmth, peacefulness. And feel into qualities of self-care and nurturing, self-love and acceptance. Feel into qualities of groundedness, presence, kind connection to self, just the way you are without needing to fix or change anything. Grounded, centered, calm and clear. Fully present and alive in this body, mind. Open to whatever arises. Open to whatever lets go. Letting go of control. allowing emotions to arise and be experienced as fully as feels safe. Perhaps it's the whole thing. Perhaps it's just a toe dip in for now. And feeling the nervous system peaceful, smooth, perhaps even still. To feel the body softly being breathed. Watching the breath rise and fall. Watching emotions come and go. Watching thoughts appear and dissolve. Watching sensations arise, unfold, and let go. And still anchored in safety, begin to deepen your breathing right from your safe space. And sensing the physical signature of safety becoming brighter and more obvious as it comes back into the foreground. Being nurtured and well cared for as you deepen your breathing. And within this safety, begin to bring some movement into your body. Wiggle fingers, wiggle toes. Move in any way your body intuits. Now you could just stay here if you liked. Just listen as we close our evening together, or you could bend your knees, roll to your side, and come up to sitting. Taking your time. When you're ready, you can unmute yourself. Again, take your time. And when you're ready, if you're ready, if there's anything you'd like to share about that experience, it felt really deep to me.
That's what I felt like. It just such a deep relaxation. My mind was a little bit more like busy than normal. But I felt very like just a very deep relaxation. That's what I would call it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then at one point I jumped. I don't know what, and I thought like there was a fly flying around my face. Like that was really weird. It's weird how your body can feel so deeply relaxed, but then my mind was like, I was just seeing different weird things. It was like very different from normal, from like the other sessions. I was like, it was weird for me. Yeah, but very relaxing.
Right. And we do drop into that hypnagogic state, which is just between sleep and awake, where it can feel really dreamy, like there's a fly, you know. and you know, it can be quite comical sometimes too, of just where your mind has gone and how it weaves into my words, and
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense, but it does make sense, and it's all okay. Sort of crossover between fantasy and reality, which in the yogic philosophy, some yogic philosophies is a masculine perspective is that this is all illusion,
Mhm.
and it's to be transcended. However, I'm learning in my studies that is the masculine interpretation, and the feminine interpretation and another lineage is that it's to be embodied. There's no need to transcend anything. It's to just feel it all and dive in, and I feel like both are valid, and to learn how to dance with one or the other at whatever given time. I think both practices are very beautiful. It's just I haven't most of my I don't even think really consciously of my teachers because none of them really were immersed in the philosophy of yoga, and there's so many different lineages that they didn't realize they were all teaching the masculine form. Neither did I until kind of now. Yeah. Thank you, Connie.
Hi. Yeah. Yeah, that was quite deep, quite relaxing. And I was a little chilled. But that went too. Um, as I relaxed into it, I thought, oh no, this is going to keep me from settling in, but that didn't. So that was really very nice. And interestingly, when you right near the very end talking about us being and going through some of the things that we had said why we had come in our intentions here, just as you were going through some of the words that came out of mine, I was like, oh, I'm back. I'm consciously awake and aware, and but in that sort of not quite wide awake and able to kind of like feel into those and not leave the whole thing, but very conscious of those words. But um, it took a while before I went into that really deep and don't recall a lot of the words, but yeah. Yeah.
And
So
you
that
have
was,
a moment of like, I'm doing it.
yeah. I think so. And such a lovely one, because of course I said I will be 6 weeks before I'll miss the next 6 weeks for it. So yeah, so this was really, really lovely, and a really nice reminder of, I can feel quite grounded and